Welcome to the Multifamily Housing Development Tour of affordable rental housing projects, funded through key federal and state financing programs administered by New Hampshire Housing. We'll highlight how they help our for-profit and non-profit partners build different types of apartment properties around the state. Financing comes primarily from the Federal Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, Home Investment Partnerships Program, and Housing Trust Fund. Tax-exempt bonds also provide significant financing for these projects to create and preserve affordable housing units in communities around the Granite State. Some of these developments received financing from the state's Affordable Housing Fund, as well as the Governor's Invest NH initiative, both of which are intended to accelerate the construction of affordable workforce housing. 23 new projects, as well as 6 refinance rehabilitation projects and 4 adaptive reuse projects, were underway in fiscal year 2023. When they're completed, there will be 1,966 more multifamily housing units, 1,536 general occupancy apartments, 307 units for seniors, and 123 units or beds for people who need supportive services and housing. Here's a look at some of our multifamily properties that were completed in the past 2 years. Located near schools and shopping, Bedford Village Manor at Riddle Brook provides affordable and market-rate apartments in the Manchester area. Teachers and police officers are among the residents of this workforce housing, according to developer Dick Anagnost. The 3 buildings have a total of 93 apartments and offer units with an accessible design for persons with disabilities. Funding came from low-income housing tax credits, tax-exempt bonds, and State Affordable Housing Fund. In Rochester, Easterseals, New Hampshire, recently leased up Champlin Place, with 65 1- and 2-bedroom apartments for residents 62 years of age and older. This new property near conservation land trails provides supportive services to older persons facing homelessness. The property was funded through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program and our Supportive Housing Program. Recognizing that Harvey Heights Apartments, a 40-year-old housing complex in Meredith, was in need of significant renovations, Lakes Region community developers purchased the 25-unit USDA rural development property to preserve its affordability. Rental assistance is provided for all apartments. Funding for the Phase 2 renovation came in part from federal low-income housing tax credits. Close to shopping and restaurants, Housing Initiatives of New England's Milford Senior Housing Project renovated 2 buildings, Milford Mill and Lindsay Landing, and added 18 new units as the Milford Cabinet Press Building. More than half of the total 88 units have HUD rental assistance administered by New Hampshire Housing. The project was funded in part by federal low-income housing tax credits and tax-exempt bonds. Located on the site of the former Bronstein Apartments, Monahan Manor Apartments has transformed several blocks in downtown Nashua. It offers residents of its 216 units, which include studio and 1 to 5 bedroom apartments, walkability to jobs, shopping, and services. Developed by the Nashua Housing and Redevelopment Authority and Boston Capital Development, it used financing from the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program and State Affordable Housing Fund. 58 units have project-based rental assistance. Amenities include a Head Start childcare program, fitness and business centers, and washer-dryers in units. The Somersworth Housing Authority was able to tap funding from the HUD Rental Assistance Demonstration Program for the Somersworth RAD, a much-needed renovation of 169 units of public housing that was converted to long-term project-based rental assistance. The Albert J. Nadeau Homes, Fillion Terrace, and Charpentier Apartments were renovated in part using federal low-income housing tax credits and tax-exempt bond financing. Located in downtown Claremont, the adaptive reuse of a 1930s building by Sullivan County converted the property into transitional housing with 28 beds. Sullivan House provides sober housing for men and women exiting the Sullivan County Department of Corrections who are enrolled in a substance use disorder treatment program. The project was financed in part by the State Affordable Housing Fund. The Mental Health Center of Greater Manchester recently renovated and expanded Manchester Street residence to help address the critical need for permanent, supportive housing for people experiencing mental illness. In addition to the renovations, the center increased the number of single-room occupancy units from 16 to 22. The project was funded, in part, with state affordable housing funds. This new 40-unit property on Route 16 in Conway is the first of a multi-phase development and is convenient to employment and the outdoor recreation amenities of the Mount Washington Valley. River Turn Apartments is built to passive house standards, meaning that the building has an energy-efficient building certification. The construction offers well-insulated interior walls that provide a weather and sound buffer. This property was funded in part through a New Hampshire Housing construction loan, the Federal Housing Trust Fund, and Home Investment Partnerships Program. These three projects received funding approval in fiscal year 2023 and are under construction. Upland Heights Apartments in Manchester is being developed by the Manchester Housing and Redevelopment Authority. Financed through the Federal Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program and the State Affordable Housing Fund, this property will offer 48 units of housing with rental assistance for individuals and families. Spring Street Apartments in Newport utilizes modular construction to create 42 units of energy-efficient housing. Also funded through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, this will be Avenue Development Group's third modular apartment project funded by New Hampshire Housing. Finally, also in Newport, an extensive renovation of the Dexter Richards & Sons Woolen Mill, located on the banks of the Sugar River, will bring 70 more general occupancy units to Sullivan County. Occam Properties is financing these units with low-income housing tax credits and tax-exempt bonds. All of these new units, financed by New Hampshire Housing and many more, will soon become safe, affordable homes for our state's workforce, retirees, families, and individuals. Learn more about New Hampshire Housing's multifamily housing division and its program financing at nhhousing.org.